Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on which coast you're on. Thank you all for joining us today. We are excited to bring you, what is this, ladies, our 10th episode? 11th episode. See, I'm behind. I spent so many hours editing the last one, I've lost track. So welcome to So You Want to Compete TV with our host, Corey, myself, Stacia from Strength and Grace Promotions, and the lovely lady Victoria from Fit and Furious. We are at an undisclosed location again this week. If you know the place, keep it to yourself. Hush. Please make sure you ask your questions here in chat on Zoom and in Facebook. For those attending on Facebook Live, you need to say hello in the chat for us to be able to pick you. That way we can help. Plus, this time we're doing trivia, so you've got to be quick on the trivia draw. We're going to have fun with that. Victoria's done some great jobs pulling some amazing sponsors together again this week. So this week we are talking about all things related to our stage preview, and I'm going to hand it over to Corey to explain what a stage preview actually entails and why we started it.
Thank you. Okay, so stage preview. This is why we asked for all of our new competitors to please make sure you check in so we know who you are. How many years have we started this? Gosh, I want to say maybe 3 years now we've been doing it.
I think it's been longer than that, to be honest with you.
So
okay, we've been going for a while.
So as we've all said, So You Want to Compete was born from the idea that we really wanted to help new competitors. There were so many new competitors coming to all the shows, and they really needed an outlet, somewhere where they could ask their questions, and we wanted a safe environment and a space for it. One of the questions that we got continually over and over and over again is, what do I do when show day shows up? So you've trained for 12 weeks, you've dieted, you've done everything your coach has asked you for, you've practiced all your posing, but what happens when actually that stage day rolls around? And first of all, you're like, I got to check in. What do I have to do for checking in? What do you mean I got to show up Saturday morning? So this is something that we started with our shows a long time ago to really help everyone figure out what it was. And so, of course, we recruited Tony because he has been our expediter for all but one of our shows, I think. But we really wanted to just walk you through. So this isn't about posing. This is really about just getting your mind at the right spot for when you show up Friday for check-ins. What happens? What do you have to do? One of the things, too, we're going to remind you in case we forget later, if you go to our website and you sign up to get our...
Hold on. I lost Corey there for just a second. So Tony?
Yes.
I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit to start going through that while Corey comes back online.
Okay, no problem. Cool. So again, guys, how you doing? When you show up on Friday, right? Normally, depending on the venue, there's different types of setups that we have. But for the most part, and for the sake of this episode, what we're going to try to do is just modify and show you exactly the different stations. And they are definitely marked, okay, by these big signs. Let me turn the camera around. You see these big signs here? So when you walk into the venue, they will be designated so you guys can see them. So when you come in, of course, you will have the NPC cards. And I have one of our head judges, Rod Smith, can talk to you guys about the NPC cards and what takes place at that station.
Hello, how you guys doing? 3 things I think you'll need when you come to an NPC card. If you have an NPC card and you did it online, make sure you have a receipt on your cell phone. That way you can show the head judge or whoever's sitting at the table and move through quicker. If you don't have one, you have an NPC card and a card that's associated with the NPC card that you must fill out. NPC cards, I think, what, $125?
$125, yeah.
We'll take cash, check at that point at the station. This card goes along with the NPC card. You fill it out for NPC magazines and things of that nature. So this process is the beginning process for any athlete in the NPC.
So can you talk about the receipts again? They can show receipts on their phones, right?
Yes. Let's say I go on the NPC Newsline, online, download, go in there where they have contests, join contests, and I buy my NPC card. Every athlete every year must get a new NPC card. And that's $125. You buy it online, and they'll send you an email link saying that you paid for it, you're free, whatever case it may be. And that gives you verification that you're now an NPC registered athlete.
So when the athletes checks in, if they do not go online and get that card, they have the hard copies here at the venue. But what do you give them to show proof?
That paper is a carbon copy paper. You'll fill it out. I'll take the $125. You'll get the yellow sheet as your receipt. The yellow sheet is something that you'll have if you did another show in 2 weeks, because your NPC card actually will not come at that point in time. So that's a receipt for you in case you do another couple of shows before your card comes in the mail.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, let me just add, so what we do, we send that information to the Pittsburgh NPC location up in Pittsburgh. And so they, in turn, they register you, and then they will mail you a hard copy of that card, okay? So again, like Rod said, you know, if you're doing a show within the next few weeks of one another, you just take that registration there that we give you and provide that to that person at that particular venue. Okay. Thanks, Rod. Appreciate it. Also, new entries. So, Corey and Stacia, do you guys want to talk about new entries, or you want me to cover that?
I could go over a little bit. We did lose Corey. Her internet. Oh, here she comes again. Her internet went down there for a bit, and no cell service. So new entries. These are usually paper copies that we have out for you guys to fill out when you do a walk-in. For our shows, Tony always laughs at me. I said if we have under 100 contestants pre-registered, we'll get 10 walk-ins. If we have over 100 contestants registered, we get 20 walk-ins. So my biggest question always is when somebody comes up to me with new entries, go, how many people have registered? I don't know. You fill out your copy and you hand it to whoever the promoter has there helping you get started through the process. Anything you want to add to that, Tony?
Yes. So you guys need to understand that all this stuff that we're telling you, some of it may be a little bit overboard. Why? Because we are all about the details. We want to make sure that when you show up on game day, at least on Friday, that you're comfortable. This is a very, very easy process. And again, by having these different stations, it allows you guys to come through pretty freely without creating a bottleneck with some of the lines and things like that. Corey, do you have anything to add? She's muted. There we go.
So, of course, it has to be me that has the technology issues today. So I literally just popped back on, so I can't actually tell you. I'm still trying to work on everything. As you can see, you see my lovely green screen as to how everything.
I like that. I like that.
Nope, I'm just going to let you keep rolling with it.
Okay,
and I will
cool.
jump in just a minute.
All right, cool. Let me flip my phone back around so we can walk to the next station. Okay, so let me just bag up and recap. So when you walk into the venue, we're going to take care of the NPC cards. We normally have the head judge take care of that station. Then you'll walk over to the promoter station where Corey and Stacia, for the sake of this episode, we're going to use Corey and Stacia, okay? You'll walk over to their station, you'll get your entry form, and if you want to register for another division, you can do that at that particular time. From there, you go over to the next station where we have our lovely Sky Lanier, and we will pick up our numbers. You will pick up your numbers, and those numbers, guys, those numbers are already pre-numbered upon your registration, okay? And then you will walk into another room where you will actually have CD signs, the bikini signs as an example, and your men's classic, okay? At those particular stations, you have your actual NPC officials there to make sure that we height and weight you. Now, Rod, I need you, big man. Can we talk about bikini and men's classic and what we do at those stations?
Okay. I'll go men's classic.
Okay.
Men's classic, see, two things you're gonna have to do. 3. 1, show up with a pair of NPC approved classic shorts. Now I say this because a lot of guys will show up with this short and then at night show try to show up with something else. Just try to please stay away from the Fredericks of Hollywood look. It's not acceptable, it won't go. Okay? 2, you have to weigh in. There are certain weights for height, match with height based on that. And the last thing, we'll have to take your height.
Can you show them what we normally have?
Okay.
So how does that go?
I'll have you face out a lot of times. I'll have you look straight ahead, and I'll catch your height based on how tall you are.
Mm-hmm.
at this moment, I'll write it down on a piece of paper that you've given me from the check-in, and we'll determine what class you're in. Some guys will at that moment say, well, my doctor told me I was 6'9". Well, sir, you only 5'9". That's what we'll usually verify you at this point. Okay? And from this point, usually that's the end for the athletes that are weighing in. You will tell you to go to a table, particularly in Atlanta, to get a t-shirt or turn in your music to the music. And with bikini, it's important with bikini athletes to make sure you wear bottoms. If you don't have bottoms in, you don't have them with you, you have to purchase a pair somewhere, or you have to have a picture of the bottom that you're wearing. The importance of that is that a lot of ladies will say, well, I have a pro cut. And I always say to them, okay, this is an amateur event. Pros get a lot more leeway than the amateurs will get. So learn what the rules or regulations that govern those tights, those trunks, get them cut that way, you'll always be safe.
So I just want to add, guys, that the suit designers, and God bless them because they come up with some serious suits. But actually, the pro cut, there's not a such thing as a pro cut. We just want to make sure that when we show up, on Saturday morning, that there's no surprises, okay? Because it's nothing more than having someone lean over too much and you got a little bit too much showing, okay? Especially on that back pose, okay? So just make sure it's all in good taste, okay? So as far, you mentioned earlier about the registration sheet, okay? So new competitors, that registration sheet verifies that you are actually in that event. So you do not take that registration sheet with you back to your room or hotel or whatever the case may be. You need to make sure that you give that registration sheet to the NPC official. So after you do your check-ins, after you do your height and your weight, then you give that back to the NPC official. If you walk out of the venue with that sheet, 9 times out of 10, you would not be on the actual competitors list, okay? So that's something key. Corey and Stacey, do you guys want to add anything?
Just add a couple of reminders is that, people ask all the time, can they still register on Friday at the show there? Yes, they can at check-ins. You can register then. You can add all of your classes there. All of the shows in the Mid-Atlantic are going to allow you on Fridays to check in. Some of them have an increased fee, but most of them are pretty similar to what you've been doing. You can also buy, because I saw a question here, you can generally buy tickets at check-ins too. If you're a competitor, that's something that we strongly suggest is buy your tickets for all your friends and family on Friday at check-ins, because then they will have their tickets. You don't have to wait in the line the next day, and you can hand it to them.
And I'm going to add in, because we had a question come over this way. When you say registration sheet, do you give it back to the show promoter or the official for your division? So here's 2 things. Some shows have just one registration sheet, and some shows like ours, I give you Corey has the registration sheets, and then I have the check-in sheets that I actually give you that you take into the judges and you give to the judges and the NPC officials that are in the room. Tony, the Battle Royale, how do you guys do it for the Battle Royale?
Well, I can tell you that, man, as far as the Mid-Atlantic zone, what we do, we have a registration sheet that has the competitor's number on the top left or right of the sheet. That is the sheet that you guys need to make sure that you give back to the NPC officials. Now, some promoters, Corey and Stacia, they might give you 2 different sheets, okay? In other words, you have an order of events and you have some other literature on there as well as far as the show is concerned. But the key thing that you need to remember, if you have a sheet with your number on it, that sheet needs to go back to the NPC official. Because what we do with that, we collect them at the end of check-ins and we give that to our score to make sure, match apples to apples, identify any changes that we may have. And then that determines exactly how we're going to run, how many athletes are in the divisions on Saturday morning, okay? I hope that answers the question.
I think that's perfect.
Okay.
So are we ready to go into the stage portion?
We have a question coming in first regarding NPC cards.
Okay.
So Tony, one of the questions is with the 2020 COVID pandemic, will competitors who purchase their cards for the 2020 season, will those be rolled over to 2021 due to the cancellations and postponements?
You know, that's a very, very good question. And unfortunately, I do not have that answer. A lot of the things are being worked out at the head office in Pittsburgh. The president, JM and Tyler, they are working very hard to make sure that when they turn the switch back on, that we have those things and those steps in place to answer those types of questions. But what I would recommend right now is that you tune in or go out to NPC News Online and constantly look at that site for any changes or anything regarding the NPC and IFBB Pro League.
That is a perfect lead-in for our question that is going to come. Right after, Victoria is going to announce, she's going to announce who the sponsors are for our giveaways. And then we are going to do it question style. So after she gives the shout out to our sponsors and lets you know what you're going to win, I'm going to ask you a question. So be ready. Remember, you have to check in on Facebook or Zoom in order for that question and answer come through and for us to help us pick you.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Thank you, Corey and Stacia. Well, first of all, I would like to share something about first time competing and first time stepping on stage and first time registration. I was one of the people that first time competed at Corey and Stacia's Max Muscle show in April about 3 years ago. And I remember that I was scared. I didn't know what was going on, why there's so many people and everybody just looks so different. And it was very exciting because it was your first time you've done the job. And it is very, very, very important to be on time, to get your number right, to get all the paperwork squared away and get in the right division and right group, because otherwise you're going to get lost and you can miss your class, and then you'll be very, very upset that you didn't get to step on stage. So other than that, just be on time for your class, because I remember I almost missed my class and I was running out the car wearing shoes and just threw my robe somewhere because it was my turn to go and step on stage, and I didn't even have time to relax. So on stage I was shaking because I was late. So make sure you're on time, to calm down, to take a deep breath. And actually, our very first giveaway will be from Miss Stacia herself. And I believe she said we're allowed to include this in each giveaway. So her meditation tape backstage where you can meditate. So this will go along with my Sporty Shop giveaway. So it's going to be 2 in 1 tape, meditation tape from Stacia and my Sporty Shop. Corey?
Okay, and Tony did such a great lead-in with that last question. So the question here is, when did the NPC start? So you need to know the year that the NPC started.
And posted it in chat so that we can help you win the prize.
And then we're gonna run it over to Tony, and we'll get him going. Oh, there's Samantha Mueller. I think that was the first one, right?
Yep, she got it. She's fast.
Yeah, the year is 1982. So congratulations, Samantha, for knowing that. And we are going to go straight over to Tony.
You muted.
He's muted.
You muted. Hey, you Googled that, right? That was quick. That was too quick. Okay, so just to recap, let me go back to Friday's check-ins, okay? Guys, I know a lot of people, once you finish checking in, you start asking questions about tanning and where do I go? Where's the host hotel? Because you just got off traffic and this, that, and the other. A lot of the times, the promoters give you a package with all that information. But check this out. If you go to their site prior to going to the event, it has all the information as well, just in case, okay? So you can actually look at that site and you can find out tanning information, set up your tanning appointments, hair and makeup, because normally the promoters, they'll have a particular sponsor for those types of things for the athletes, okay? So that's something you guys need to make sure you tune into. So what we try to do, especially in the mid-Atlantic zone, is make sure that you guys, you don't have to think about anything. We got you. Trust me, we got you. The only thing you need to do is show up, be prepared, have your suit, get your tan, get your makeup, hair done, and we will take care of the rest. We will guide you through this whole thing, okay? As you can see, we went through the Friday check-ins, exactly what takes place. You have your NPC cards, your new entries, if you want to cross over, things of that. And when speaking of crossing over, you only get one number. So if you're crossing over from, let's say, master's figure to open figure, you will only have one number, okay? And while we're speaking of numbers, all athletes will wear their numbers on the left hip with the exception of the bikini competitors. Whichever is your dominant hip, that's where you will put your number. And Skylar, let me ask you a quick question if you come around here real quick. So when it comes to numbers for bikini girls, what do you recommend as a posing coach as far as where to place it?
So for me, it was what you said before with dominant side. So if my front pose is like this, my button will go right here. I don't want it to go super in closer because you're not going to be able to see it, or I don't want to go super far out. I want it to be right dead here. And then if your pose is obviously here, your main pose, it should go right there. In clear view of the head judge.
Right.
So.
Okay, thank you. That's perfect. And Rod, can you step over here for a minute? So Skylar brought up, as far as making sure your numbers on the left or your right hip, depending on your dominant hip. How important is that for the judges and from your point of view, especially sitting down very, very low?
A lot of times, when the bikini competitors, particularly on the beginning level, are taught by their coach or whatever, they're stuck in a position. They can't get out of it. So if we say wear it to where it's dominant or even towards the center, it makes it easier for you to get your number versus call out. Because if I can't see your number, I tend not to want to call you out. And two, it slows the process up, and also it makes you a little bit more agitated and nervous on stage. So naturally, you want to wear that thing where judges can easily see it. Because keep in mind, it's anywhere from 7 to 9 judges on the bigger events. And someone over here may not be able to see that number if you're on the far right. Right. So you want to put it where so make sure it's advantageous for the judges to see. We're not dealing with cute. We want to make sure the judges can see that badge to get you to call out the cute.
So speaking of which, okay, so let's say that you have 7 and 9 athletes lined up, and then you guys have finished one on your judging, and then you tell, especially the bikini athletes, to face front. Yes. And some of them don't want to face front. But what's the reason behind that?
The reason why is if I'm here, and the judge over there can't see that numbers on my level, and we're just trying to verify numbers at that point. So we'll say, ladies, can you put both feet in front, put both feet on the line? That's just to verify the numbers. Judging has already been done. Let's get your numbers correct. That's simply it. Okay.
So Sky, let me ask you a question. Okay, so with that said, okay, so when you are with your clients and you teach them how to pose, do you tell them, hey, look, sometimes the judge may ask you to face front. You need to be prepared for that. Do you tell them to try to coach them to a good stance that's complementary to their physique?
Yes. So obviously, like when they say, okay, everybody just stand front, you don't lose. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just want to see your number. So I always keep your tummy in, your chest up, and just hold a very nice professional pose. And then when they say, okay, either exit off or go back to your front pose, just get back to your front pose.
Now that's a good tip, guys. So please understand that when you are on stage, as soon as you step foot on stage, you're being critiqued. You are being critiqued at that moment on. So you need to be prepared, not only with bikini athletes, but also with the men's physique as well, because sometimes we're going to ask you guys, place your hips to the front, both feet on the line. You need to be prepared with that. And so you need to have a good stance for that, okay? So all our new competitors out there, yes, your individual routines and things like that is very, very important. The comparison is even more important, but you also need to look professional doing the whole aspect of being on stage, okay? Now, Roger, do you want to add anything else?
I think, take on what Skylar just mentioned. I think if you're on the left side of the stage, right side of the stage, you have to know how to show yourself on the side of the stage.
Yes.
A lot of girls get caught on one side, one thing, and they get another side, and they're lost. So if you're practicing these things, practice from both sides of the stage, standing in the lineup and presenting yourself.
Good. Okay, so I mean, those are some of our tips, guys. And again, what we're trying to do is just educate you so you are not surprised on game day. So we finished with check-ins on Friday. Everybody's good to go. You got your tan, you got your hair, makeup, everything is done. You show up on Saturday morning. Some of the promoters have gotten away from having athletes meetings for prejudging. However, if some of the promoters do have a meeting, what that simply is just to give you a rundown on exactly what's going to take place for that morning. Okay, so what I normally do with that particular meeting, I will go through each division. I would say, hey, look, for our classic physique, our men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, women's physique, what's going to happen? The judges are going to what we're going to do, we're going to line you up backstage, we're going to bring you out, we're going to place you on the straight line, we're going to turn it over to the head judge, he's going to spin you around a couple of times. We're going to get into a little bit more detail about this a little bit later, but this is for, I'm just giving you what is normally presented at the meetings on Saturday morning. That's what's going to take place for the women's physique, classic physique, bodybuilding, and the women's bodybuilding. We're going to bring you out, put you on a straight line, we're going to turn you around a couple of times. We're going to prepare you, and then we're going to send you off stage. Our men's physique, figure, bikini, and wellness athletes, what's going to happen, we're going to bring you out on the diagonal line. You will have 10 seconds inside that box. 10 seconds inside that box, guys. We are not making movies. It's all about commercial. All right? And you will do your individual routine. After you do that individual routine, you will go back to your designated diagonal line. And then it's time out. It's time for the comparisons, okay? Once the head judge identifies or calls your number, you will raise your hand, be very professional. You will go to the designated spot on the straight line. Okay, from there, the judges will move you around. After that, they will ask you to exit the stage. The head expediter will then lead you off stage, guys, and it's just that simple. That's what I normally cover during the meeting, okay? Very clear, concise, to the point, so you guys can get dialed in on what needs to take place once you step on stage. But there's a lot of other things that's happened before that point. Now, I know that you athletes, you're backstage, you're fired up, you're pumped up, you got your earphones on, things like that. We have our backstage crew lining people up, and we normally lined up at least three classes deep. So you might have one class on stage, and then we might have class B, C, and D already lined up, and that's by design. Why? Because we do not know exactly how fast the judges are going to judge the athletes, and two, we need to make sure that you are ready. So therefore, when you're backstage, if you are listening to your music, and I'm all about that, okay? But I'm making sure that I got one ear out, so I can make sure I hear the expediter call my number, okay? Because they're not going to say, hey, Tony, we need for you to come up. Okay, they're gonna call me by your number. So you gotta know your number, guys. That's your responsibility. So novice competitors, when we give you that number on Friday night, don't lose that number. Don't lose that number. Don't lose that number, okay? And you need to remember that number, okay? Remember the number, so on Saturday morning, when we call your number, you know exactly what needs to take place, okay? Are there any questions right now? Corey,
that's a great question. We did have a question asking how many numbers do the competitors get? And some of the other federations I know, they will give them 2 numbers. So one for the front and one for the back. In the NPC, we only do how many numbers? I stumped him.
You cut out. What did you say? I'm sorry.
How many numbers do we give them when they check in?
One number only, guys. We got you. I'm telling you. It works. Trust me, it works, okay?
And if you do lose a number, what happens?
Okay, so the expediting team, they're prepared just in case you lose your number, because we have extra numbers in the back, blank numbers. So we would take a permanent marker. We would ask you, hey, what was your number? And we would verify that with the score. And we will just simply make your number. So again, we got you guys. We got you, but it's up to it's your responsibility to make sure that you know your number. And two, please don't lose your number, okay? But if you do, you know, things happen, we got you, all right?
Okay, a couple other questions, Tony.
Anything else?
Couple other questions. If someone isn't feeling good backstage, what should they do?
Oh, perfect. So at each of our events, right, we are mandated to have an EMT at the event. So normally that's the promoter's responsibility to make sure that we have an EMT. And so as a head expediter, I normally ask the promoters, hey, look, Corey, Station, where's your EMT? I need to know who that person is. Okay, I put my eyes and ears on that person, and I have them at a designated location backstage. If we have an athlete that's ill, feeling sick, dizzy, dehydrated, the only thing they have to do is just notify one of the backstage expediters, and we will take you to the EMT. EMT will check you out. If the EMT gives us a thumbs up saying, hey, look, that athlete is good to go, we will put you back in line. If for some reason or another, the EMT gives you a thumbs down, then therefore, hey, it's all about safety first, guys. We got to make sure that we take care of the athletes first. So if you're not able to go out there and to compete with the understanding that you have been training for a very long time, but we need to think about your safety first, okay?
So other thing that I will mention too is just like Tony said, make sure you are listening and paying attention. I'm going to put Stacia on the spot. Stacia is very nice and she likes to run and find competitors. She's wonderful at that, but you really, really need to make sure that you are paying attention and that you are listening. When they tell you to be there at 9 and the show starts at 9, be there at 9 and don't leave the venue. Stay there. So Tony, tell them what happens as we get moving forward if they miss their class.
Okay, so I just want to backtrack this a little bit. I just want to piggyback on what you just said as far as the timing. So the promoters are going to give you an order of events. If we say, hey, look, we're going to have a meeting at 9:30 or 9 o'clock and the show starts at 10 o'clock, okay? I love my coaches out there. If they tell you, if some of our coaches would say, look, you don't have to worry about that. You can show up at 10 minutes till, you'd be good to go. Well, I can tell you that from our perspective, from running backstage, at 30 minutes prior to, we're calling numbers. At a quarter till, you are in line. At 10 o'clock, the switch has been turned on and we're sending athletes out, okay? So I've always leaned towards telling athletes, hey, look, once we finish with the athletes meeting, if there is one, go set up your residence backstage, don't move. Because again, we always start off with bodybuilding in the mid-Atlantic zone. Sometimes we have 15, 30 bodybuilders. Sometimes we may have 5 bodybuilders. So that which means that we're going to combine those classes, and it would take no more than 3. Rod can attest to that. Right? When it comes to bodybuilding, Rod, I mean, we always ask you guys, hey, look, guys, we're going to combine the master's class and the open class, right? And then we'll bring them out. So real quick, we combine classes. What is your responsibility from a judge's perspective? Because a lot of athletes think that if you combine classes, you're being judged with that person. So Rod, can you touch on that?
A lot of times what you'll see, we'll have a novice class, lightweight, heavyweight. Lightweights up to 187, 185, heavyweights beyond that. And a lot of times we may have a master's competitor, 1 or 2 middleweights, whatever the case may be. You're going to be judged based on your category no matter who you're out there standing with. So there'll never be a situation where I'm a novice competing against open guys unless I'm also in the open class. Other than that, it'll be judged specifically by the category that which you enrolled in.
I appreciate that, Ron.
Mhm.
But Corey, go back to your original question. What was the question again? I know I kind of veered off, but I just wanted to piggyback on what you said earlier. I apologize for that.
What happens if a competitor misses their class?
Okay, so that's one of our, we really hate that. I mean, I know hate is a very strong word, but we do not want any athlete to miss their class. We really, I mean, that's the reason why we ask you to show up at certain times, guys, because we do not want you to miss your class. If you, I'm gonna use bodybuilding as an example, okay? If you are in the master's class and you were supposed to be in the master class, but for some reason or another, your class already been judged. If you cross over to another class within bodybuilding, you're covered. You just won't get judged with that master class, okay? But if you do miss your class, we will try to work with you to try to put you into another class within that division to make it work for you. But again, guys, we can only do so much. So one of your responsibilities is to get prepared for the show, get the right suit, get your hair and makeup done, get your tanning done. We're gonna give you a number. You need to know that number, remember that number, put it on the designated hip, depending on your division, and show up. Okay, that's your responsibility. We got everything else. There's only so much the NPC officials can do. But again, if you miss your class, guys, we're going to try to work with you, try to put you into another class within that division. And if it just so happens it just doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now, we may have you come back. If time permits, we may have you come back during the finals to do your routine. So let's say if you were doing the master's class, and that's the only class that you register for, then we will ask you to come back at night and at least do your routine. At least do your routine, okay? All right.
Yeah, I think in the past, what you'll see is a master's competitor misses their class, right? And they go out and do other parts of the show. And at nighttime, a lot of times we'll bring them back and we'll do a confirmation score for that class that you missed in the morning. But that is a courtesy.
That's a courtesy, right?
That's a courtesy. A lot of times promoters won't do it, but in Mid-Atlantic, I think a lot of times we've done that just to accommodate the athlete.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I forgot to mention that. That's why I have Rod here, right? Because I'm in expeditor mode, right? But he's in judging mode, right? So sometimes we have the luxury, depending on time, to actually, and the amount of athletes to actually rejudge at the finals. So, I mean, there's several other ways we can work that, guys. I mean, we understand you put a lot of time, money, resources to get in that great shape, and we want you to show your physique. But again, you need to also look at it from an athlete's point of view. What are my responsibilities as an athlete, okay? So please keep that in mind. Cora, I hope that answers your question.
It did. And so we do have two other questions. I will answer these really quickly. And then what we'll do is we can, if Tony wants to elaborate with them after we do a giveaway, we'll go back. One of the questions was, if we don't make top 5 for prejudging, do we show up for finals? Absolutely. Everybody comes back on in finals, and you don't know if you're in top 5 or not until you come back for finals. So everybody's seen for prejudging and finals, whether they're closer together, whether they're more spread out, everybody is there. Other thing to talk about we'll mention is crossovers. So when Tony goes into the next section, we can mention the crossovers. The most important thing that you need to remember besides, your number when you're backstage is how many classes did you actually sign up for? So if you signed up for 3 classes and you've gone out once for bodybuilding, don't take off, because you go out 2 more times for your other 2 classes. So we'll cover that in a minute, but I want to go to Victoria so that we can do another giveaway. So get ready, because we've got a trivia question coming up right after she says what you're going to win.
Thank you, Corey. Well, first of all, let me tell you this. We have probably every possible state joining us on So You Want to Compete group. It's a private group where you just need to send a request and we will add you. We have people from Georgia that actually, Christian Lewis, she's serving in Afghanistan right now, but she's usually tuning in every Saturday. We have South Carolina, Puerto Rico, Connecticut, Oregon, Richmond, Florida, Ohio, a lot of people from Ohio, Santa Barbara, Ocean City, Maryland, Virginia, Charlottesville, Dallas, Vinton, Virginia, Canada, San Diego, New York, New Jersey, Alaska. Yeah, one of my places to go. Boston, California, Illinois, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, DC, Texas, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Cayman Island. This is so exciting. So thank you so much for tuning in. And let's see who our brand new sponsor, Brands Bling, giving away a beautiful bracelet today. And of course, Stacia's backstage meditation tape, who this will go to, Corey?
Okay, so not this answer. We're not looking for this one, but so do you guys know this is not the question? Masters is going to start at the age of 35. All of us over the age of 35 can't believe we're Masters competitors. Don't even get us started about Grandmasters. But so this is not the question. The question is, how old was Arnold Schwarzenegger when he won the Olympia for the first time, when he became Mr. Olympia?
Oh, wow.
He wasn't a Masters competitor. We'll give you that.
Tony's laughing because Corey and I have an absolute aversion to the word grandmaster.
Yeah, and I think it's like the age of 40 or something. And I'm like,
No.
I'm 42. I'm not a grandmaster of anything.
No, Dominique tried, but it was close. I've got both Facebook Live and the Zoom chat going.
Awesome. Okay, Tony, you're up.
Okay, cool. Hey, Rod, let's talk about this. Hey, Corey, I want to go back to top 5 and talk about, when you have people that's like say that, hey, look, I was in the middle the whole time and this, that, and the other. Did I win my class and things like that? I'm gonna bring the head judge, Rod Smith, back in to answer those questions real quick.
When judging the shows, I think everybody assumes that because I'm in the middle that I'm winning. A lot of instances that may be the case. If it's only one of you, then you know you're in the middle, you won. But at the same time, then the question was asked, will I come back if I'm not in the top 5? Well, you don't know. Confirmation of score and the scores are not tallied. We don't know as a judge who's won at that point. So yes, I would come back, particularly if the person that you think is winning goes out, enjoys himself a little bit too much of food, come back out of shape, then we will definitely judge that class. So it behooves you to stay in shape, show back up, because you never know.
Thank you, Rod. I appreciate that. So are we ready to go into the stage portion?
We are ready. We're ready.
Okay, so for our new athletes, all right, let me just identify certain markers on the stage. And this is by design to make sure that we create that perfect picture for our NBC photographers, okay? Because each promoter brings in a photographer to film the athletes and post your pictures out there on NBC News Online. Now, everybody wants to see the pictures, all right? I know you guys do. All right, so therefore, we as expediters, right, we want to make sure that we create that perfect picture for you. So therefore, I'm going to start off. We have diagonal lines. We have diagonal lines to your right and also to your left. All right. We also have a straight line to the front of the stage where the judges would be facing you. Inside that, we have a 3x3 box. That is where you're going to be doing your individual routine, guys. That is where men's physique, bikini, figure, and wellness will be doing their individual routine, guys. Again, 10 seconds on that. Also, for our wellness and our bikini athletes, when the head judge asks you to face to the rear, and then take 4 or 5 steps towards the red line in the back. We have a designated red line back here so you can stop. Now, what I've seen in the past, right? I've seen some of our bikini competitors take 3 steps and stop. You got some people going all the way to the red line and stuff. I tell you what, if there's a line back there, just walk to the line. That way, everyone stop. Good photo op. All right, and then when you guys turn back around and come back, it looks very, very cool. All right, so that is what you have on the stage. As far as the different markers that you see, okay? So I believe now, Corey, I'm ready to go into each division to actually describe exactly what takes place for each division when they come out. Is that cool?
That's cool. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Let's start off with bodybuilding, okay? So I'm gonna put Rod in the middle, And I'm gonna bring my man out here to, we're gonna line you guys up. We're gonna line you guys up backstage. The on-stage expediter is gonna bring the class on. Come on, come on. I'm gonna place you right here. And then Rod, I want you right over here. Okay, right there, okay? Once we place the division, this is bodybuilding, place you on the sideline, I'm just gonna move out of the frame and I'm gonna turn it over to the head judge.
At this moment, what you have to remember as a competitor, you're in position. A lot of things can happen at this moment. The biggest thing you gotta remember that at this point, other than the free posing, this will a lot of times be your signature round. The signature round consists of nothing but quarter turns, okay? Quarter turn right, quarter turn right, quarter turn right, and face the front. Okay? Usually what happens in the bigger shows, these 6 athletes will foul off stage. Then we'll bring another line up. At this moment, with the comparison round, the signature round, we'll start comparison round. And this is where we actually go through every one of the poses. Bodybuilder will be your front lower bicep, a front lat spread, a side chest, a side tricep. At this moment, I will have them face the rear lat spread, back lower bicep, face the front, abdominal side, and finally the most muscular of his choice. Some people like the crab pose, some people like the hand on the hip, whatever makes you look best. At that moment, keep the expediter. Thank you. I'll say turn left or turn right and exit the stage.
So Rod, real quick, can you talk about, so that's what happens at the regional level, guys. That's what happens at the regional level. When you go up to Pittsburgh and you judge the North Americans and also the Master National, what's the difference between what B just went through from a regional level to what you do exactly at the national level?
Regional level versus national level. Biggest thing is you have a 60 to 45 second free round pose in the morning. A lot of guys or girls are going to come out at that moment and try to do their evening routines. This routine right here sells you to the judges. It says, I have the best side chest. I have the best front bicep. I have all these things to make you call me out first. If you do a dance routine from your eating routine, you killed yourself. It's as simple as that. You just annihilated your option. So I would come out at this moment and hit my best shot. I don't care if I hit 6 front or biceps. So I look good in them when we hit them. If I have a crappy, most muscular, I will stay away from that. Hit what makes you look best, do it, and go off stage. Now, on the national level also, there are going to be a lot of guys. That's why I say to young men, learn the pose and master the stage. Because that diagonal line is where I call out from. And if you don't look good there, unfortunately, you probably won't get called out there. So you have to master the stage. So if I know I'm going to be in a diagonal before I get even called out, it will behoove me to be best I can in my side pose, my master poses. Okay? That's it.
No, thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. So, guys, real quick, we had B go through the what takes place for our bodybuilders, but that also takes place for our classic physique and our women's physique. We're going to bring you out on a straight line. The on-stage expediter is going to place you to create that perfect picture, balance the stage out, and then we're going to turn it over to the head judge. Rod took B through the mandatories, quarter turns, and things like that. Please understand that if the head judge calls your number, you need to acknowledge that and then move to the designated location. Guys, sometimes you have athletes that want to rub elbows and things of that nature. This is a non-contact sport. If you just so happen you start opening up and you touch someone's elbow, be a gentleman, move to the left or right just so you can create that space, all right? And then if not, then I will come in and help you to create that space, all right? Okay, you want to go to class physique?
Yeah, because I want to say something.
Okay.
Because everybody thinks it's classic. It's not.
So, Corey, do we have any questions reference bodybuilding?
No questions yet.
Okay, so let's go into classic physique, all right? So let me bring my classic guys out. B is going to represent our classic physique. We'll place it right there in the center. Expediter is going to move to the left. I'm going to turn it over to the head judge.
Real quick. Straight feet, really well. Really well. Now lean back. That's the biggest thing that you'll see nowadays when people pose, particularly in classic physique. You have to remember, this is classic physique and not classic bodybuilding. I think the NPC took the approach of making sure it's classic physique and not classic bodybuilding, so we wouldn't get a situation where guys are clearly going into bodybuilding. We're trying to keep the lines separated. Classic physique is in itself, bodybuilding is this. Another thing about classic physique, you're going to get the same call-outs, with the exception of building a front of bicep, a side chest. You're going to turn to the rear, you do a rear bicep. At this point, you're going to turn back to the front. You do an abdominal thigh and your classic move. And your favorite classic pose. Also, you do a side tricep. I'm sorry, I missed that pose. At this moment, in classic physique, we don't want to see muscles because it's classic physique. And I'll say to any classic physique competitor, no classic poses. Know how to show yourself classic. So a lot of times guys get out there and try to be bodybuilders and fake the classic physique thing, and we'll be confused about water as a bodybuilder and not a classic physique category. Okay? So therefore, when you stand up there, a lot of guys stand at a real gap leg thing. That's a bodybuilder stance. That's why they highlight an X frame. Bring those legs in a little bit, give us that symmetry look, the symmetrical look. We don't want the legs to be overblown out of classic physique. The line should flow more so in classic physique than they do in bodybuilding. Okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lord. I appreciate that. I mean, guys, definitely take some good notes, right? Because this is good information. When I'm talking to athletes and they're telling me, hey, look, I'm going to do my first show and, could you help me out with your posing? My goal for those types of athletes to make sure that when you step on stage, you do not look like a first-time competitor. And Corey and Stacia and Victoria, they provided this platform for us to provide you guys with this information so you can use that to your benefit when you step out on stage and when we turn the switch back on, all right? Let's just recap it real quick. We just went through bodybuilding, we went through classic physique, and I told you earlier that women's physique and women's bodybuilding would do the same type of movements as far as how you enter the stage and where you are placed on the stage. So right now, what I want to do is move into what would happen with our men's physique, our figure competitors, and our bikini. I'm going to use Skylar to represent our. I'm sorry?
Before you move on, I have one question about classic physique and bodybuilding. Question comes in, if they are doing bodybuilding and classic physique, do they do their routines more than once? If they're crossing
the answer to that question is yes, because it's two different divisions. You have bodybuilding and you have classic physique. Okay, so again, what Rod just mentioned, he said, hey, look, a lot of the classic guys get confused why you didn't place high because of you are doing classic physique, but you're posing like a bodybuilder. Okay, classic physique is classic physique. Okay, bodybuilding is bodybuilding. Okay, there's two different divisions. So yes, Corey, you would do your routines twice. Okay.
Now with that, if I am either a bodybuilder or classic physique competitor and I am crossing over or doing multiple classes, how many times will I do my routine and how many times will I pose in prejudging?
We're talking about the finals, correct?
The question is two-part. They're asking how many times would they come out on stage if they're crossing over and doing 3 classes, and then how many times would they do their routine if it's just a bodybuilder? Okay,
if it's just a bodybuilder, right, you're only going to do your routine once. You're going to do your routine once, okay? Now, if you can only do your routine once, and that's it, okay? As far as the finals goes, you would do your posing routine only once. If you're doing Masters, Open, and Grandmasters, okay? You only do your routine once. If you're crossing over from bodybuilding to classic physique, you do your routine once in bodybuilding, once in classic physique. I hope that answers the question. And we're just talking about bodybuilding and classic physique. Right.
One more clarification. Let's say that competitor is doing novice, open, and masters for prejudging, how many times will they come out on stage and do their routine? Actually,
okay, if we're talking about bodybuilding and we're talking about a regional level show, there's no individual routines for women's physique, classic physique, bodybuilding, all right, and classic physique, okay, women's physique and women's bodybuilding. There's no individual routines at a regional level, okay?
Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, all right, cool. So now we're gonna move into what will take place for our bikini, our figure, our men's physique competitors, and our wellness competitors, okay? Because it's a little bit different, all right? So I'm gonna use Skylar as my model out here. So Skylar, now hold up, just 1 minute. I'm gonna line you guys up backstage. The expediting team has 3 rows deep. I'm gonna bring the first division out, and Skylar, you will lead here. I'm gonna take you across stage, and I'm gonna place you on this diagonal line. And once I place her here, everyone else is gonna follow suit. Everyone else is gonna follow suit. I'm gonna identify the next class, and I'm gonna bring them out, and I'm gonna place them right here. And B is gonna join Sky up here, all right? All right? So, from that standpoint, all right, what's gonna happen is that once we have all the athletes on stage, I'm gonna turn it over to the head judge, and then the first athlete will come out and do the individual routine. Yes, go ahead. So once the first athlete leaves that box, the next athlete is going to go. You do not have to wait for the MC to actually pronounce your name. Why? Because we've already covered that by lining you guys up backstage. And before you get out there, we're checking crossovers, making sure we have everybody in that class. So by the time that class has lined up, that information has already been relayed to the MC. So Skylar came out, she did her routine, then she moved back. As soon as she stepped out of that box, the next athlete is going to go. And sometimes what we do at our larger shows, the expediter is standing out there with the athletes, and what we do, we line up an athlete here, another athlete here, and one is in the box. So we keep a constant flow of athletes, because when you get to those larger shows, and you got like 30, 40 in a class, if you wait until they announce your name, that just continues to add time. And so what we're trying to do, we're trying to be efficient with our process and also give it a good look, all right? But just have you guys to be in sync, or just to be in sync. One of the mistakes that I see at the regional level and also at the national level, now the pros can get away with a lot of stuff, like Rod mentioned earlier. They can walk to the back, do a T-walk, and come forward, all kinds of stuff, right? That's if we had that luxury of time. At our regional level and our national level, we just do not have that benefit, okay? So we're gonna ask you to go straight. Can we pan over to Skylar? We're gonna have the athlete go straight from that center line, straight to the box, okay? You'll go straight to the box. She finishes her routine, and then she goes straight back to the diagonal line, okay? You don't have to worry about stepping behind the line. Just go right back to your designated spot, guys, because the on-stage expedite is going to cover all of that. Again, we're just trying to make it easy for you guys. The only thing we want you to do is just follow suit, okay? Just follow suit, stay professional. When you move from that diagonal line, raise your hand, come out, have your beginning, middle, and end of your presentation. finish strong, and then go back to that designated location, guys. That is what we cover for men's. The same thing applies for men's physique. The same thing applies for figure, bikini, and wellness. That's how we're going to bring you guys out. Now, let's go through the comparison round, okay? Rob.
In the bikini category, what will happen is that we'll call, usually be anywhere from one to 8 girls, depends on the size of the show and the size of that class. Okay? With bikini, it's front. Okay, ladies, we turn and face the rear. Then it's 4 steps to the front line, to the back line. 4 steps to the back line, please. Okay, ladies, turn and face the front. And return to the front line, please.
Do it, B. Do it, B.
So you got to remember, for the bikini competitors, it's front, back, front. Simple as that. Front, back, front.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I have a question about
Okay.
on the line.
Go ahead.
For bikini competitors,
Uh-huh.
some girls are like way up here. Are you guys put the feet on the line?
So the question was that when we have the athletes lined up on the front line, some athletes like to take a step forward, or whatever the case may be. That line is there for a purpose. So we want you on that line, okay? That keeps everybody even keeled. You're not up front, you're not in the back. Everybody's even keeled, and it creates that perfect picture. It creates that perfect picture, okay? So, good point, Tyler. Good point. Thank you, guys. Another thing that I would like to mention, Skylar, can you go over the back pose?
Okay.
They do those to the back pose real quick.
Okay. Skylar's going to turn and face the rear pose, right? Give me the most exaggerated video pose in America. This pose right here is a no-no. This is a moon pose. And in bodybuilding, the moon pose gets you instantly disqualified. Those are the rules. So if you do a moon pose, you have the option. And plus, that's telling you too much. At the same time, there's kids out in the offense and whatever the case may be. So we want to keep it clean. So that's the biggest no-no for a real pose. Okay? Thank you, Scott.
So what's the correct pose?
Correct pose, hands on the thigh, slightly bent to show the hamstring well and the glute well. Okay? Bring your shoulders back. You don't want to flex your back and show muscularity because in bikini, that's not what we're looking for. The hair, you want to use the hair. If you have long hair, make sure you cover your neck. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. So I know this is not a posing episode, okay? I just want to point that out because that's some of the mistakes that we see our young and our novice competitors make, okay? So just, make a mental note of that, guys. Corey, back to you.
Okay, so we do have a couple questions. Are competitors being judged when you're standing on the diagonal?
Right.
That doesn't say you're being judged. What happens is, in all fairness, the minute you break that curtain, you're being judged. So whether you be on a diagonal or in a lineup, anyone on stage, when you're bikini, during that class, you're going to be judged. What happens is, they come out there on the diagonal. A girl can look really bad in her walk, but show really well in the diagonal. Me as a judge, I'm picking people from that diagonal. So in all theory, in all actuality, yes, you are being judged on the diagonal. You are being judged.
We do have a question while you're there, Rod. So this question is more for you. Is the side tricep pose a part of the classic mandatories? I'm skipping back for a second.
No, it's not. No,
Okay.
it's not. No, it's not.
Well, there you go.
I added it in the last minute, but it's not one of the poses. Because the side trap pose is our second half thigh pose, so no, it's not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the questions for right now. So I'm just going to warn everybody right now that if you have questions, make sure you're putting them in the chat or sending them on Facebook Live so that we can get your questions answered, because otherwise we're going to run out of time. And I think Victoria might be flashing something at me. So there is so she is going to flash 2 signs. So she's got the giveaway time and the like us, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I will get Victoria to put the Instagram follows and likes and everything in there. Technology is not my thing. You can ask either Stacia or Victoria. It's not my thing. Speaking is, but you know, all the tech stuff is not. So we're going to find out what they are going to win, and then I will tell you the question.
Corey, did we announce the second question winner? Did we announce the out loud that person? I think we missed it. I believe her name is Madeline.
Yes.
Madeline Taylor. Congratulations, Madeline. And our very last one, the very delicious one. It's a cherry on the cake. It's the OCD cookies. Yum, yum. Thank you again for supporting. And Stacia's meditation tape. I would probably need to meditate a lot not to eat that cookie, but this little guy is just so cute. I don't know. I can't commit the crime of really eating it. But
about the rock the stage a little bit?
Maybe. So again, OCD cookies and Stacia's Rock the Stage meditation tape is going to who today?
Well, I don't know. I might have to say the cherry on the cake was seeing our men's physique guy do the walk back to the curtain. So I think that is the cherry on the cake that comes out of this entire thing. I don't know, as women, I think we might have to make that mandatory that men's physique has to do the walk back to the curtain. Okay, this one's a little tricky. It's a two-parter. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. Okay? Who holds the title for the most Mr. Olympia wins? I gave you a hint there. It's a two-parter.
All right, so that means we'll let somebody answer that and let you go back to finishing up over there with Tony on our super secret location.
Well, and let me just say for a second, and you know, this is when it's really nice to have great friends that own a gym and they're willing to secretly get us all in here. So, you know, just a huge thank you to them. I'm sure you guys have figured out who it is, but they will be open very, very soon. But just to the owners and to everybody there, thank you so much for making this happen and actually letting us do it in a gym and showcase it. We really appreciate it. Back to Tony. We'll follow up with some final questions and see who is going to answer that question.
Well, I just want to say real quick, guys. I know a lot of you guys, if you guys don't know, Corey and Stacia, right? They are promoters of 3 big shows here in Northern Virginia. And they have some type of knack to bringing the most novice competitors at their event. I don't know what they do, but they always have a lot of novice competitors. So guys, thank you guys so much for always including me in this type of event. I know that it's beneficial because the athletes tell me so. So you guys came up with that on your own. So again, you guys are always giving back to the sport. You're always providing that platform to educate the athletes and the fans. The 3 of you, you've been doing this this is the 11th week. And I can tell you guys, I mean, this has kept our DMV community connected, motivated, and inspired. So ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. I think we've been having fun. So Corey, everybody's giving me some names, but they're not giving me both names in the same chat.
So there's your hint, guys. It's 2.
Oh, there you go. Nicole McDaniel just got both. There you go.
So the answer for everybody, if they didn't get it, it's Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman, and they both have 8 wins. So the real question should be is, do you know who's giving them a good run for their money? So we'll let them ponder that. And Tony, let's go back to, we don't have any questions right now. So either that means people don't have any questions to ask, or we're actually answering all the questions because we've been doing this for quite a while.
Well, we know that this is back to the basics, right? I mean, for some of us who's been doing this for a little bit, it's a no-brainer to us. But again, the goal here is to make sure that we try to establish some type of comfort zone for our athletes, especially within the Mid-Atlantic zone. If you compete in Maryland, Virginia, or DC, at any one of those events, you will experience the same thing, the same setup, how we run the stage, backstage, the same deal. It doesn't change. If you take that event and you go to Pittsburgh, it's the same way, guys. That's because we have great leaders in Gary Udit and Rick Biardi, who has provided that education for the Mid-Atlantic zone. And so what we have done is spread those different things to help make sure that our shows are efficient and ran very, very well throughout the Mid-Atlantic zone, okay? Hell, if this system right here can work with 100 competitors, it can work with 1,500 competitors. It's proven. So the only thing you guys have to do is just show up in shape and ready to compete, and we got the rest. Trust me, we got the rest. We got you. Okay.
So we do have questions then that are going to come in right now. These are not so much as actually check-ins or stage. We're going to talk about tanning for a minute. There's some definite questions about tanning. I think the most important question that we always get is, what do you wear to go tanning in? You don't wear anything. You can talk to the tanning company and they can tell you if there's something else you want to wear. Another thing with the tanning is what we highly, highly recommend, and Skylar and Victoria are cracking me up because they're showcasing something and they want to share something. So look at them, if you can see them. So we'll let them show you what they're showing you. But with tanning, highly recommend you use the tanning company. Yeah, there you go. You guys are all wondering, what in the heck are those things? But if the show, and most all the shows have an actual tanning company, that is the tanning sponsor, use them. The reason why is because they are at the venue, they are backstage, they have everything you need. They're going to have your color right there with them. So if anything happens, and heaven forbid you pee down your leg, I'm giving them a little hint, they're there to take care of you. So I'm going to let Victoria explain what she's got in her hands, and then Skylar can tell you why it's so beneficial.
Okay, so the tanning company that I usually work with and absolutely love them, the Macabella Fitness, they provide each athlete with a little goodie bag where they have gloves, a little wipe, oil to add a little bit of glaze on top of your tan. And they give this amazing life-saving device. It's for girls. It's for girls, sorry guys, that will really help you to preserve your tan, not to make a mess, and feel very comfortable. You can just sanitize it or boil in hot water after you use it. And I have my two colors, pink and purple. This is a really lifesaver, and you really benefit from having it. But I know people use different methods. This works, always worked for me, and I take it everywhere.
So and I know Skylar wanted to add to that.
Yes, so I've tried Dixie cups, all that stuff, and the female urinary device that Victoria just showed you is the best. It is shaped for a woman's body. I have never gotten dribble or anything using that, so I highly suggest that all of you ladies do purchase this item for when you do get tan, because you cannot sit on the toilet at all.
Yes, because you're going to have big marks on the back of your glutes that will be visible from close, far away. In all your stage photos, it's going to be very seen right under the crease of your glute. It's going to be seen, and it's not going to be pretty, and you're going to be very upset.
Well, and that's a great lead way for me to remind everybody. If you go to the So You Want to Compete website, go on there, scroll down, look for the show day checklist. I think Stacia and I are going to have to make sure that we have female urinary device on there. But make sure you sign up to get the free show day checklist. What it has is it is compiled from talking to lots of pros and judges and coaches and athletes as to what do you want to bring with you backstage when you show up. So it's a great, just check everything off as you bring it with you. But again, that's the So You Want to Compete website. We'll put it in the chat so that you can find it and go down there and get your free show day checklist.
Awesome. Well, and I want to add to, thank you guys for the Facebook Live group that was calling me a backstage bounty hunter and backstage ninja, because I go chase everybody down and try to make sure nobody misses their class. I think I've probably yelled at Victoria or even Skylar about their numbers at some point or another when the backstage competitions. We've been having fun with that. We will add more to the show day checklist. I just have to slow it down. and double check with Victoria and Skylar to see if they have anything else to add to it for you guys. And gentlemen, I don't want to hear it from you that you don't have to bring your heels. No, we know that you're not bringing heels. This is for both types of, both aspects of competitive stage presence. So do we have any more to go over, Tony, with the stage, or do we think we've covered everything?
No, I think we're good, but I want to ask Skylar, I mean, as far as, go back to tanning for just one quick minute.
Sure.
As far as when you tan, what type of stuff do you wear to the tanning appointment, and then what do you wear to sleep in and things like that? How do you protect your tan?
So what I wear to tanning, I wear loose fitting sweatpants that aren't really tight around my waist, and I wear a big long sleeve, normally black or dark gray shirt to like sleep in and just to wear after. And normally I'll wear flip flops or my Uggs if it's raining. And I always make sure that my hotel room, or if you're in your house, it is 60 degrees. Because if you sweat at night, you're going to get sweat lines, or your armpits are going to turn green or something like that. So make sure your room is cold and you're wearing things that aren't going to make you sweat. And especially bring old black sheets with you if you're staying at a hotel. Bring also your own towel, because hotels may charge you for staining their towels with the tan, and also bring your own pillowcase that's black.
Okay. Yeah, I think we just wanted to cover that, because I know there's a lot of stuff we probably threw at you today, and you're like, oh my gosh, I mean, what did I check? Current Station has a checklist. They even have it broke down how much it costs for women athletes and for our male athletes. I mean, they have the whole 9 yards, one-stop shop, right? So again, guys, you know, just take this information, use it as a shopping cart. You know, some information you might need to use, some of you might not need to use. But again, this is back to the basics. We just want to make sure, wanted to make sure that we try to educate you guys, keep you guys in tune. Some of the things that you probably don't even think about. Hopefully we were able to jog your memory a little bit and give you a little bit of information to take with you, put in your toolkit. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. It's just, you know, thank you so much for helping us bring all this information to all of our competitors. I think it's always great for our brand new competitors, and it's also such a great reminder for all of our veteran competitors in terms of the little bits of stuff. A lot of them are also working with all of our new competitors. So thanks so much. On behalf of So You Want to Compete, we just really appreciate you guys all being here. I think this morning I was trying to calculate how many days it's been, and I think if we take 11 times 7, it's been at least 77 days that we've been in quarantine and been doing this. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in each week and joining us, and we love seeing you and chatting with you.
And then next week, so next week we have wellness division, right, Victoria?
Next week, we have all things wellness, everything about wellness. We will have a wellness judge, wellness coach from Dominican Republic with 3 of his beauties that are absolutely gorgeous, wellness models. So please share, tune in, because wellness is a brand new division in the NPC industry. And criteria are very specific, and that Dan will be sharing how to train, what to eat, and what are the specific criteria for this particular division. So tune in, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week.
All right, I'm going to say that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Tony, thank you in our super secret location. We appreciate it. Thank you, Samantha. Samantha, I think, is tuned in every weekend with us. She's over here in the chat saying thank you to all so much for this. Has been incredibly helpful. So we appreciate it. That's why we're doing it. You guys don't forget to follow us on YouTube. It is youtube.com/SoYouWantToCompete. It's really easy now. You guys helped us get the actual name brand for us. And we will see you same time next week for all things wellness related. You guys have a great day.